My name is Eric Smith, and this is an excerpt from my autobiographical series, My Life, and not so much a nutshell, but more of a Melon Rind. And this is from the first of those 4 books. It was late Christmas Eve in 2000 when the phone rang. My mother pushed the talk button on the cordless telephone, and I went back to reading my copy of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. As she handed the phone to my dad, my mother exclaimed, "It's Neil." Neil is my cousin Paula's husband. Paula is my dad's sister's daughter. "Well, okay. We will see you tomorrow then. Merry Christmas, sweetie." My dad ends the call. "We're going to Brackney tomorrow." Apparently he'd been talking to my cousin Paula, not her husband. "Oh crap. I'm going to have to get gifts ready for everybody," my mother grumbles, though she seemed kind of excited nonetheless. She then shuffled off to get some leather and key rings and thread. "I have a great idea for some personalized keychains." Every time my mother has what she deems a great idea, I feel a twinge of nervousness in my gut. The next day, I had my 79-year-old grandmother and me stuffed into the back seat of her Geo Metro, which she no longer drove, and my parents in the front seat, and we were on our way to Brackney, Pennsylvania, which is an upper-middle-class area around Quaker Lake. It's a really nice place. My cousin's house is surrounded by trees, and there was a sizable horse paddock standing near the house, which itself was spectacular looking. Not too big and not too small. Definitely not something my parents could have afforded in their professions. We had a nice big dinner, made of all the typical American Christmas foods. My favorite is always the deviled eggs. Most of my dad's family was there, my Aunt Virginia, who is Paula's mom, and her life partner, Uncle Don. His son Kyle, my cousins Paula and Neil, of course, their daughters Melinda and Tiffany, my cousin David, who is Paula's brother, and his family, Keith and Butch, my other cousins, and their families, and many others. We had all congregated in the family room, which is a remodeled basement, now with all the fanciest electronics and stuff. The Grinch was playing on the 50-inch television in the corner. We had all started passing out the presents. I had not seen what my mother came up with for those keychains. She had wrapped them up individually. I watched my family unwrap these really cheap gifts with my breath held. How bad was it going to be? Results were generally that of wanting to be nice because they knew we were poor, and that of knowing that these were never going to get used, or probably even kept for very long. I looked at Keith's, as he was the closest to me, and I wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. The key ring was attached sloppily to the leather strap with a bit of thread. His name was written in Sharpie, with disconnected letters looking to have been drawn by a 5-year-old. "Ah, thanks, Uncle Mike and Aunt Tina. I like it," Keith lied convincingly. I could tell that my cousins had all been brought up to accept the gifts from my parents pleasantly and to lie and say it was nice. I had to love my family. Wonderful people brought up correctly. "Okay, Eric, your turn. Here's your presents," Paula exclaimed loudly as her husband put 3 sizable boxes in front of me. I pulled the lid off the top one, and my breath was taken away. They had given me a Sega Genesis with CD attachment. "Oh my god, thank you so much," I exclaimed. I had never had a video game system of my own before. I had a big gray Game Boy, but nothing involving a television. I was stoked. I opened the second box and screamed loudly. It was full of games for the system. The bottom box contained the accessories. I was overjoyed. "Thank you, thank you, thank you," I exclaimed. "You're welcome, dear." Paula and Neil smiled. They were happy to see me so happy.